Another race which was just left to itself. Chase Elliott ran out of fuel. Michael McDowell shat himself halfway through the race. Ty Gibbs actually did pretty well, and William Byron snorted a line and ran off into the distance.
Hey there, folks. Thank you so much again for joining us for yet another episode of NASCAR Cup Dates. This weekend we found ourselves at one of the fan-favorite road courses, Watkins Glen. And how did it hold up? Admittedly, it probably did better than the Indianapolis road course did last week, but that is not saying too terribly much. This was more of a green flag race with not a lot of action happening on the track, but the storylines, which were plenty, happened on pit road, or in Chase Elliott's case, the absolute mismanagement of fuel, which we will be getting into that in just a moment. But there is a lot to unpack here with this race, so without any further ado, let's get to it.
I actually had a comment on one of my posts about the Indianapolis video, saying that I should be race director. I couldn't tell if that was sarcasm or not. So I wrote, "Hey lad, need a decent pay, right? How about I take over race director because I know what I'm doing and I'm not bipolar. Experience. I'm undefeated in Motorsport Manager 3 in 14 seasons. Downed an entire pitcher of drink. So clearly up for a sesh. And I don't like Chase Elliott, so I have no bias whatsoever. Perks of having me. Sesh bound. Chase hater. Will purposefully make half the field driving back at Talladega." T-Stu reference right there.
We'll split the field in half, and half of them can go the regular direction, and half of them can go backwards.
I'm also English. So, and I got a response. "Hi Elliot, good afternoon, thanks for contacting the NASCAR Digital. This is Eloisa, and we apologise for the inconvenience. As tech support for online apps, I do not have the ability to hire anyone." Well, that's shit. Have a look at that link. Oh. Yeah, there's no jobs. On Saturday, it was announced that Josh Berry would be back in the number 42. No clue what's happening the rest of the year. No one said a thing, but I'm sure it's in safe hands. Mike Rockenfeller was back in the car after we're going to say okay run at Indianapolis. Denny Hamlin won the pole for the Glen, and it was his third road course pole in 5 starts in 2023. Coincidentally, it was also his third choke on a road course in 2023. In Sonoma, he fell into the middle of the pack and then smacked the wall on his own whilst racing William Byron. In Chicago, he just smacked the wall while running second and fell back into 12th. And this week actually went pretty well. Really, like a decent day. Didn't really leave the top 3. Ty Gibbs, as a rookie, also had an amazing day. Finished the top 6 and was in the top 3 majority of the race. Michael McDowell managed to win stage 1 after winning Indianapolis last week. And after that, he came into the pits. He exited right alongside Denny Hamlin. I mean, Michael Denny.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold him down by your side. Yeah.
And then he got a penalty for driving through too many pit boxes. How? Thing is, I get speeding and I get equipment interference. How? It's not like it's a tight turning either. It's pretty shallow. You got 1, 2, 3, and then you're pit. Yeah. So he got caught for that. It was now William Byron's turn to lead the race, which was an awful idea because he just took it and ran. The racing for second on back was pretty cool though. Michael McDowell got another penalty in the race. This one was for over the wall too soon, which just about summed up their day, really. Kyle Larson got a speeding penalty and had to serve a pass-through, but Chase Elliott brought out the caution for, I shit you not, running out of gas.
It ain't got no gas in it.
I know I said I didn't get driving through too many boxes, but forget that, because Chase Elliott, on the verge of missing the playoffs for the first time in his career, 2020 Series champion, 2022 regular Series champion, 18-time Cup winner, 7-time road course winner, 5-time most popular driver, 1 race suspension serving, 6 weeks off for an injury, glue sniffing, race car driver, ran out of fuel. This may be the biggest dipshit move I've ever seen. It's stupid.
So one of the topics that hits very close to home for me is watching Alan Gustafson absolutely mismanage Chase Elliott's fuel. For some reason, this man seemed to believe he had more fuel in the tank than what he actually did, forcing Chase Elliott to run out of gas on the backstretch, becoming the first and only caution in this race. Now, Alan Gustafson is a man that means a lot to me in the NASCAR sphere, where I watched him back in 2009 in person lead Mark Martin to one of the most impressive fuel mileage wins I had ever seen, where he both outmatched the likes of Chad Knaus and Roush Racing back in their absolute prime. Jimmy Johnson and Greg Biffle running out of gas on the final lap, Mark Martin getting the win, and at that point I thought that this man was an absolute fuel mileage wizard and I would want nobody else but him to manage my fuel. Unfortunately, that did not happen this weekend. In one of the most crucial and most important races of Chase Elliott's 2023 career, it came up more than short. Unfortunately, mostly at the hands of this man and his mismanagement of fuel. Boy, oh boy, do I. If there's a way for me to feel bad for Chase Elliott, I think I kind of do a little bit.
Some ways through the restart, Eric Almirola spun because talent. Mark McDowell shot himself out of the race with near enough 15 to go after losing power. 3 strikes, you're out, penalty 1, penalty 2, engine fucked.
I've had enough, you're out of here!
What do you mean? Fuck up, fuck up, fuck up, fuck up! Get out!
No caution for either of those two things, so William Byron managed to run off into the distance and scored his 5th win on the season. His first on a road course. Good for him. That wasn't all though, because in the final turn, Kyle Larson and Austin Dillon both spun. No one knows why, what happened, although that is another set of questions that just killed Stephen Hawkins.
Now it's time for Dan's Strong Opinions.
And now, once again, we move on to my personal favorite segment of the show, Dan's Strong Opinions. So what strong opinions do I have for you this weekend? Personally, I do not enjoy watching back-to-back road course racing. Look, I adore road course racing, especially with this new style of stock car. You've heard me rant and rave about how fantastic I think this car is on road courses. Even at some of their most lackluster, I think there's a lot to enjoy. But it's much like the makeup of a cake, where you almost don't want to have too much frosting on that cake. You need a nice fluffy cake to even it out, but if you have too much frosting, and then it gets just too sweet, and then you're just a little bit turned off by the whole experience of what it is. Give me some more oval tracks to even out this frosting that is current style road course racing. Just give me 1 or 2 in the middle, space it out a little bit more. NASCAR's done a stellar job with the spacing, but there's always room to improve, and this is where you can improve it. These are my strong opinions, and I'm sticking to them.
Right, moving on to picks, and I won the Glen with Ty Gibbs. I'm thinking of a driver on the bubble that needs a good run. I'm going for Bubba Wallace. Absolute banging super speedway racer.
And with Elliott beating me out in our picks this week, because my pick, Chase Elliott, obviously did not have the performance I was believing he was going to have, that means I'm second up to pick. So who do I think is going to win at arguably the most special track to me as a fan? My pick is going to be the number 7 car of Corey LaJoie. I've always believed that this man is very, very good right now on the super speedway package. Last year, I witnessed him at Atlanta, albeit a different style of super speedway than Daytona or Talladega, almost get the win before Chase Elliott made a very controversial move, blocking him and pretty much putting him into the wall, taking him out of contention. Anytime we come to a super speedway, one of my eyes is always on that number 7 car, because I think he can get it done at these super speedways, especially when the pressure is this high to make it in. Bubba Wallace is on the bubble. Who do I think is going to knock him out? My money's on the number 7 car of Corey LaJoie. And unfortunately, that will lead us all the way to the end of this show. It always pains me to end these videos because I love talking auto racing in general with my friends and especially with you folks out there. If you're new here, please give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share. Let us know how we're doing in the comments below. Give me your strong opinions and let me know how wrong I am, how right he is. Give me a follow on Twitter @CupDatesDan. I'd love to hear what your strong opinions are all the way over there. Thank you so much for joining us. Always, always a fun time here on this show. You folks have a good one. See you on Daytona.
Cheers.